Okay, so we have been talking about what marketing is, what marketing means, and marketing history and so forth. And now I am going to explain a very important concept called marketing myopia, which basically means what happens to a firm if you don't apply the marketing concept in it. So, no, I have the clicker on full. Okay, so you can think, well, a valid question to ask is why businesses might fail. Now, I have students in international management here, so they're gonna just come with like 100 ways that they can fail. So I'm just gonna talk about one. So just hold your horses. So you can think of firms, being either in some sort of growth and mature stage, they kind of cease to grow and then boom, they just disappear. You can also think about firms being, with an explosive growth, let's say Yahoo when they were good, and then boom, they suddenly hit a wall. So why might this be the reason? Now, if you actually ask managers and you ask them, hey, why did you fail? They start, like the old man waving their fist, oh, the economy, oh, competition, oh, blah, In a sense, that might be true, especially, in these tough economic times. I understand that actually might be a valid excuse. But sometimes it just hides the fact that there's a fundamental mistake in the way managers think that might lead to an important failure, which is your business just being scuttled. And that's called marketing myopia. Now, instead of just going through the definition, I'm going to go through an example first. So that, my little grasshoppers, is a train wreck. And that's exactly what happened to trains and the railroad industry, in the late 30s and 40s and 50s. It was just gone. They're basically, have you actually seen a train like in the past 10 years? Maybe one or two, but really not. So, in that time and age, everyone was just crazy about trains and railroads. People put a lot of money into them. They thought it was going to be the future, and it was the hottest thing since peanut butter. And I don't know if peanut butter existed at the time, but anyway, and it was going to be the most revolutionary product ever, and it failed. Now, if you actually look at the anecdotal evidence of the time, suddenly people started to realize that they could buy a car, or public transportation started to appear. And when this started to happen, managers were asked, hey, what are you going to do about this situation? And they said, oh, we don't care about that because we know that people like trains, and we're all into trains, and they must understand it's the future. And it failed. So why? Why did the railroad and the trains fail? Because of this managerial mindset. They were catering to the trains and the railroads and their product, not to the consumer needs. And as you know, a firm works to satisfy a certain demand. And the certain demand exists because of the individual preferences which are aggregated and then form the demand curve. So they were actually not catering to the market primitives that drive a business, but they were catering to their own product. That, my little children, is wrong. And that is called marketing myopia. It was called by Ted Levitt in 1975. It's an article in Harvard Business Review, not that anyone cares. So really, he says, okay, just please define your industry broadly. So if you sell trains, you are really in the industry of transporting goods and people from A to B, not on the industry of making, maintaining, and selling trains and railroad tracks. It's just stupid. Now, just be careful because then Disney may say, oh, I'm in this industry of entertainment, so suddenly I'm gonna be opening strip clubs, with Mickey Mouse. That's also wrong. So just define your industry broadly, but not too broad. So in Disney, maybe entertainment for kids, that's a little better. So you should act based on needs and desires, not on your own product. So remember that what drives a firm is needs, not your own product. Your product is a manifestation of, of how to serve those needs. And you should focus on opportunities, not on products. So maybe the people from the trains and railroads could have started just to invest in the new car firms, and they could have, maybe the product would have still disappeared, but maybe they could have done a better job, or at least they would still have money, because all of them went broke. So I want to talk about four particular sources of this mindset that you shouldn't do outside when you actually have a real job and a real life unlike me. So first is that you should be careful about, don't focus on the growth of population. When the railroads and the trains failed, the population was growing a lot. Now the problem is that, okay, there are more people, but no one cares about your product anymore, so what's the difference, right? So it doesn't matter really. I mean, the market potential should be a function of what people prefer, not just how many people are there. Second, managers tend to focus on thinking that there's no substitute for their product. That's what happened to Yahoo, and suddenly Google appears and just knocks it out, and they're doing bad. And Google thinks they are the best thing again since hot coffee or whatever, and then suddenly, actually Microsoft came with a new search engine, which actually is crap. But anyway, some competitor can come with something out of nothing and just knock you out. And typically, when Google appeared, Yahoo still had time to react. But they just decided not to because they were just in love with their own product, not with what consumers wanted, something simple and blah, blah, blah. Third, or actually one, I know what happened there, relying on economies of scale is just wrong. Why? Because people think, and actually this appears in a lot of new business plans. They say, oh, by the fifth year I'm going to be selling for a gazillion units, so I'm going to be paying nothing for them. Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter if they're cheap. If no one wants them anymore, you might as well be paying nothing. Actually, in firms which sell information goods, whose cost is basically zero, they still have this kind of trouble, They're selling something at a cost of zero and still they can make a profit. Why? Because people don't want that. And finally, and this is for people like in IT and technology related majors, sometimes when you develop, let's say, an upgrade of an existing software, you do it based on the capabilities of the old model, not really on what the customer wants. So if you don't do that, you might just rehash your own products time and again instead of actually thinking, are the preferences of the consumer the same as this model that was existing 5 years ago? So that's also something specific to these kind of firms. So this is what marketing myopia means. You should focus on needs, not on products. And so when you go out